One. Hey everyone, welcome to Filmmaker Mike and the boys. This is the Mandalorian Chapter 15 review. Joining me tonight is Sequestered Jester.
Hey, everybody.
Pinhead.
What's up?
And Kuya.
Hi.
Alrighty, so the first to the last chapter for Season 2 of The Mandalorian, The Believer, running in at 38 minutes. I'm going to hit live here on Facebook. We're going to go live because we're technology. 38 minutes. It's directed by Rick Fumayiwa, who also directed, I think, one of the chapters from the first season. Yep. And also cameoed as one of the New Republic pilots, along with Dave Filoni, and I forgot the other. I think it was Deborah Chow also in the first season. Yeah. So another great chapter. 30 again, a short running time, 38 minutes, not as short as the last chapter, but they're really putting in a lot in a short amount of time. So much happens. They're
making me crow, so that's one good thing, because they're compacting these small episodes, which I didn't like at first, into some action-packed episodes that are really, really good. Yep. Like I said, that one episode the second episode has been the only one that I was disappointed with, and that's pretty good considering TV is really disappointing right now.
Right. Yeah, I think they've really mastered the art of just putting in quality over quantity. It doesn't have to be too long. Again, I think the model of the Clone Wars, proven that is animation. It still tells you if you have a good story and a good script, you can tell a good story in 22, 23 minutes. And then, of course, we all know that with The Mandalorian, the story branches over, has an overarching, story throughout each season. In fact, the whole thing is like one big story, but then you have these like adventures within each chapter. So, we kick things off with we're on the scrapyard in a New Republic scrapyard, and there's a bunch of Imperial, Empire ATSTs and all the other vehicles that they use for warfare, and the New Republic has taken it over. There's a droid that is a pretty serious droid with a stun baton, and we see Mayfeld.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Since the first season, and Mayfeld's just doing his thing. Bill Burr, he's come along. He's how the mighty have fallen, I guess we should say, from the first season, and I really like this performance.
Oh yeah,
but he was great.
I have to say that scene with him and the droid, the robot, it reminded me of RoboCop. You have 30 seconds to comply. I was like,
what?
There was a twinge of that in there, and I was like, and he's like, all right.
Right, but in this one, he was given just like, you have 3 seconds.
Yeah, you have 3 seconds.
Now I'm gonna stun your ass. Like
not even 30, like 3.
It was a little weird to see the New Republic having like a work camp. Like I thought that felt more Imperial to me. So I got confused when they showed up. I was like,
Which I think ties well into the theme of the chapter and what Mayfeld is talking about. It doesn't matter who's taking over the galaxy.
All the same.
It's all the same to the common folk,
Mm-hmm.
And that's why even when you look back at the prequels and then the Jedi, just because the Jedi were like, a lot of people also didn't mind the Jedi or despise the Jedi because they were like, oh, you guys, you're high and mighty at the Jedi, you have these powers and you think you're the shit. You think you're it, but you're not it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a really powerful. So there's a lot of things in this chapter, like.
There's some really powerful stuff in this episode, like especially toward that last act when we'll get to that. It really hits home, and you go, man, like Bill Burr put on some top-notch acting.
Dude, I don't know where he pulled that from, but
I don't either. Like
He did such a good job, man. I couldn't
but I
believe it.
do like his character because it is an essence of him. You see it
Yeah.
throughout this entire. It's sprinkled throughout this entire episode with every scene that he gobbles, because he gobbles a lot of scenery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all Bill
just-
Burr. Like, you know.
Yeah,
I just love how
especially
he went
toward that standoff with him and my boy, which they didn't put him in the credits. I'm kind of Richard Brake.
Yep.
Yeah, that they gobble the scenery, and his acting is top notch. I just have to say it. Throughout the episode, it's just top notch.
I gotta say the beginning though, when Boba came out in his newly polished armor, I was like, oh man, like, and you know, and Bill Burr, huh?
The fresh coat of paint on that.
Oh
armor.
yeah, and I liked how it looked.
Yeah.
I liked how it was matte too, like it was a matte finish, and
Yeah.
with the black cloak underneath.
You know,
Oh, man.
I didn't even notice until you guys mentioned it.
Really?
No way.
What
I was just like,
yes, you did.
no, I didn't. Like, I swear to God, I didn't. Like, I was just like, I was
How
surprised when,
could you
like,
not?
no. When Mayfeld saw Boba first, right? He was like, oh,
Oh
wait,
yeah, he got all scared. He was like, oh, I thought
wait,
he was the other guy.
I thought you were the other guy. And then Mando came back and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah. I gotta say,
no, but
too,
seriously, I didn't notice the paint job until you guys noticed it.
No,
So, or not mentioned it.
he was looking
interesting.
fresh in this episode.
Yeah, he was
Really?
looking hella fly for sure. It was really interesting too, seeing the inner components or like the inner workings of the Slave One.
Yes.
You know, like we always saw it like being like a 2-seat sports car, but then to see like how the entire thing on the inside just like rotates
Rotating,
as it's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, yeah,
That
it's
was
great.
cool. Yeah, because in Attack of the Clones, well, in Empire, we did see the inside of Slave One, but just a very brief shot, close up of Boba tracking the Millennium Falcon, piece of trash, a hunk of junk.
He didn't catch him.
And then in Attack of the Clones, we did see Django and Boba, but then that's it. Yeah, it felt like a really small cockpit. Like you could fit like 3 people in there. And
Yeah,
then-
but it was a separate cockpit though, because like the whole other compartment is like a whole different section.
Right.
It seems
they
like
added
the
that.
cockpit. It seems like the cockpit is the only thing that stays stationary while the rest of the interior moves.
Like, it moves, so
Right.
it looks
Right.
kind of.
I think they added that. So I think that was really cool. That was a really cool addition. And yeah, Boba's freshly coat of paint, like it looks really cool. And I noticed they released some high def screenshots from the episode. If you look closely at his visor where the red is, there's still a bit of scratches on the red. And
I did see that.
That's
Yeah.
All right, I was gonna say I thought that was just my scratches on my glasses. Like
I could see it. I could see it.
I-
Yeah.
so
And then
good. That's
I
not
love
me.
I love the combination of the black tunic
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
with the armor. So I'm
Ugh.
like, I mean, man, if Disney, Lucasfilm or Hasbro does not announce like the new Boba Fett action figure with a more like actual like up to date, to the Mandalorian, like
Like including the beer belly, right?
huh?
Including the beer belly.
I gotta say,
you
it
don't
looked.
see it as much. You don't see it as
Yeah.
much.
No, he got trim for this episode. You know good and well they're like, hey Fatso, let's cut a few LBs. Because he got trim out of nowhere unless it was CGI.
I don't know, man. I think it goes back to my original statement last episode of the podcast. That he was his brobes. It totally was his
No,
brobes.
it wasn't the robes. The
Yeah.
robe.
So
He had
here's-
beer belly blues.
It was
like-
a beer belly blues, man.
Here's what I think. Yeah, if you see those screenshots of Boba, there's a screenshot where he's like pointing the blaster, and then you can see the armor. It's kind of like lifted up. I think as far as the story, it makes sense that it looks like because he was like rushing to get it on. To me, at least, like it makes sense that
So he probably put it on like with what's his name's size still on the armor, yeah.
Probably sure.
Who was the guy that was the
Cobb
sheriff?
Cobb Vanth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was still because he's a little smaller than Boba, so it's probably cut to his
Maybe
size.
Cobb Vanth made some adjustments to it. Who knows? But it made sense because if he was rushing to get the armor on, and like as soon as he gets in on the action. But yeah, it looks great. And to see this much of Slave One, like that's really awesome. To see like inside of it and like to see it in action. I actually wanted to see it like get in a dogfight with those TIE fighters. But then we see the back of Slave One, and the trap door opens, and it's a seismic charge. And I was like, "Oh boy, here we go!" And it
Yeah.
does that.
When I saw that one, I was like, yeah, good call.
Yeah,
That's a
I don't-
good callback. So
I don't even know anything about the Slave One, and I was excited about it. I was like, that's an awesome shot.
right.
Here's
And I like
something
his
else.
comment. I like his comment, like when they're in there, he's talking about, I wish you could come with us. You're such a ray of sunshine.
Oh yeah.
I could see you in one of these things. I'm like,
Oh, in the tank.
yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I like that as much as I am a big Boba Fett fan, I liked that he kind of took a back seat, and it's Mando's show still. Like
Right.
the same thing they did with Ahsoka. I like that they're doing the same thing with Fett, and he has his moments to shine. I mean, with the Slave One and
Right.
the whole shebang. You know, basically his ride. So,
So, for the uninitiated, what makes Slave One so great, other than it's Boba Fett's ship?
That's
You
it.
said
And
it.
the
Is
design-
that
the
it? Is that
the
it?
design. I think it's the design as well, and the fact
Yeah.
when it lands,
It flies vertically,
Yeah,
and then when it lands, it lands horizontally. So that's basically what it
Okay.
does. So
you just have to contribute to the fact that like when Star Wars came out, everything just kind of everything looked like it should land the way it should land. But then
Yeah.
when they saw it in Empire Strikes Back, how it just landed like that, or it was on its back when it took
Yeah.
off, everyone was like, "Whoa, what the hell was that?" And then they took that a step further in Attack of the Clones, giving it like this crazy arsenal of weaponry,
mhm.
you know, and like some of the most amazing sounds we've ever heard in Star Wars. And then that just became its own character, like the Razor Crest in this show. you
So
know?
it's in its own way, it's a cult classic.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Razor Crest, only better. So
Yeah.
I
I mean, I like the Razor.
not
I like the
I,
Razor
I
Crest.
could see that. I could see that because
it hasn't blown up yet in the 30 years that it's been.
yeah, I mean, like I said episodes ago, we're gonna see the Slave One, and sure
Yeah.
enough, last chapter we see it, we hear the sound,
We're not sure if the Razor One,
and it's been parked in Jabba's palace for like what? How many years? Well, not actually. Yeah, so it's like what, 5 years?
Yeah.
Not too long. But
Yes.
the fact that no one messed with it, like the Razor Crest, like Jawas, like
Yeah.
Jawas like, oh shit, it's open
Pick it
because
apart.
Mando doesn't close his fucking doors. That's the problem.
or like
I
has
don't
a
know what-
security system. Like-
Mando doesn't close his doors.
Yeah, I don't get
Is
it.
he Canadian?
I really don't.
I don't know. He's a nice guy, I guess. I don't
he
know.
might be. He might be.
And I only mention that because I've heard and I've seen like a documentary or I think the news, like Canadians don't even lock their doors, or maybe not all. I don't want to generalize. Maybe not.
Most.
Maybe like in like certain towns.
Well,
man.
Well,
Like,
shit,
I don't,
if that's the case, a lot of people here in Reno don't do that shit either. So are they Canadians too?
Alrighty. So back to the chapter. I like what Mayfeld said when he told Mando, "If you can sleep at night, you're doing better than most."
Yeah.
Wow, what a line of dialogue that not only reflects in that galaxy, but in this world as well. When you think about it,
Mhm.
even like hard. I mean, you don't have to think about it hard enough. Yeah, if you can sleep at night, you're doing better than most. If you can-
it kind of shows like how much how much battle Mayfeld has seen, right? Because
Exactly.
he's seen a whole lot of stuff, and that's why the way he talks about like things like this is very like, oh, it's not good guy and bad guy, it's everything is gray.
Exactly.
So
And that's
it doesn't matter who's in charge, like everybody's fucked up, it's gonna get fucked up anyways in the process.
and
So
that's why
it's nice to see that kind of point of view to be seen in the Star Wars thing, because they, again, we always think that the New Republic, or like the rebels were like the good guys and the Empire was like all evil and shit. But like deep down, it's a whole level of like back and forth shit that has nothing to do with everything. So like when that comment when they were driving and he was looking at the alien people in that planet.
right.
They look at us like as if we're nothing, because we're all the
invaders.
same. Yeah, we're all the same to them. We're all invaders. So
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I say, and that same battle hardened mentality is why he calls people out on their bullshit. I mean,
yeah,
he called Mando out on his bullshit about the mask,
Right.
about the helmet.
He
Like
was
he
doing-
literally like, what is the difference?
what's
Is
the
it
difference?
because
Yeah.
you don't want to be seen, or is it because you don't have you can't be seen with the helmet off, or you can't have your face shown? There's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could tell in season 1
And
he was very much doing the same, and like you could tell he got his inner demons, but it was in that episode he was just a jerk. You know what I mean? You didn't really
Yeah.
care about him, but it was interesting to see like instantly the script just flip on everybody, seeing what happened and like why he is the way he
Why
is.
he was a jerk? Yeah. Why,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like this episode, I agree with you, Jester. Like this episode is a perfect companion piece to that one because now we understand why he's such a dick, why he's so battle hardened, especially to this last scene that we'll get to.
Yeah.
Toward the end, we understand why he got to where he got to because
That was pretty
he's
cool.
seen some shit. Like
Yeah, no, that's
he's
what I'm
seen
saying.
some Vietnam level type
Yeah.
of shit.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say it right now. Like when he mentioned Operation Cinder, I was like, "Whoo, man!" Like,
I didn't know anything about that, but when see, that's what I like about that performance. I don't know anything about Operation Cinder until he hammered it home in this episode, leading to the incident that we're gonna get to. Then I understood, and I was like, it almost brought a tear to my eyes because
Yeah.
it's parallel. It's parallel to the soldiers in Vietnam. So it Bill Burr, beautiful, just
Yeah.
beautiful.
bravo, man.
And I think
Because
this
if it wasn't for his performance, that wouldn't have been shit.
Yeah, yeah. And it was seeing all three of their reactions. Like you got the turtle out of his shell, just trying to like keep everything together. Bill, who's slowly losing it, and then the amazing performance of like the Nazi-esque, officer at the
Yeah.
table, like it's for the glory of the empire, and
Yeah.
and it's just like, man, this is such an amazing scene. I was so captivated and like it's just
So was
so
I.
tense, it's so
Especially
great.
Bill Burr's presence, his
Mhm.
facial expressions, the way he hammered it home, and him going like that off of Richard Brake's like his nonchalant Nazi-esque attitude. Yeah, it was brilliant.
So
Yeah.
by the way, that what's the name of that actor that you mentioned, Richard Brake?
Richard Brake.
So
He's like he's
just-
a Rob Zombie. He's a Rob Zombie favorite. So
he's the Imperial captain, right? The commanding officer.
yes, correct.
Okay, so just so everyone knows, he also played the Night King from Game of Thrones. So that's
Correct.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
right. He did.
so, and he
And for those
he played this officer so well, like you literally.
For those of you
hate
that
him.
don't know, I just have to throw that out there as the resident horror guru. He was also in 31, Halloween 2, the remake, and recently 3 from Hell. So if you go, oh, I recognize that guy, you might have seen him in one of those horror movies you've seen or Game of Thrones. So
Yeah, and then also just to fill in those who may not be familiar with Operation Cinder, so it was
like
so it was carried out by the Galactic Empire as a means of devastating several Imperial planets in 4 years after the Battle of Yavin, only a few weeks following the Battle of Endor. The operation was part of the contingency, a plan devised by Emperor Palpatine to ensure that the Empire and its enemies did not outlive him should he ever perish. And that just goes to show you, like, Palpatine's like,
Ooh.
I'm gone, this whole galaxy's gone. Like,
I'm taking my shit.
taking everyone with me. Like, wow. So
That's some intense shit.
yeah, the plan was put into action following the Emperor's death during the Battle of Endor, and then of course, when you play Star Wars Battlefront 2, it's there. It's part of the story, and then it mentions here. Imperial forces placed satellites in orbit of planets to form a climate disruption array. Electrical storms and other extreme weather events would begin to ravage targeted planets. Operation Cinder lasted for at least 3 months after an attack on Naboo, the homeworld of Emperor Sheev Palpatine, and a rallying point for many Imperial sympathizers. Other worlds that were targeted included Vardos, Burden Khan, Candovant, Abednedo, Comenor, and Necronus. By the end of the war, in 5 years, 5 years after the Battle of Yavin, the secret contingency was clandestinely carried out to rebuild the Empire in the unknown regions. Also,
Sounds like Operation Genocide to me, but
pretty much,
It was.
and
It
then
was.
I do want to mention that officer. So his name is Captain Valhes, or it's something like that, Captain Valhes. He does mention his last line before he gets shot up by Mayfeld. He says, everyone thinks they want freedom, but what they really want is order. The first
Yeah.
order. Dun, dun, dun. So there's your connection. Those who hate the sequel trilogy with a passion are like, they're connecting the pieces.
But it's good connections. Like
Exactly,
I said, it's
exactly.
good connections.
That's my.
and when you get actors like him
Oh yeah.
to do stuff, because he's very underrated. Like, I used to not like him, but then when I saw his little opening monologue on 31, I went, okay, I understand what he is about, how his acting is, and how he gauges it. I have a lot of respect for him now. So he was actually a perfect part for that role.
Oh yeah,
Like,
dude. Well, as
perfect,
soon as Mayfeld saw him, and then we get like a hint of that guy's presence, where all of our butt cheeks were clenched up until the moment we were able to release, because it was just so intense, and like his intensity of let's get a drink, brown eyes,
Yeah.
like
Well,
riveting.
Yeah.
I agree with you up to the butt cheeks thing, because I shit my pants the whole time. So.
I do want to mention.
But other
also,
than that, I agree.
I do want to mention, yeah, when Mando gets the data stick, and then he has to, like Mayfeld tells him, you have to have your face scanned.
That was
And
an
then he takes off
awesome.
his helmet, and this is
For the kid, baby.
He made a choice of saving Grogu
Exactly.
versus
Yeah,
his honor.
he chose
And
Gorgoroth over his
fantastic.
code.
Exactly.
Over his code. Like, I like that. It really hammered home, especially when we get to that very last.
And remember what
That
Mayfeld said.
ultimatum at the end, that makes that scene even more sweet. We'll get to that.
Mhm.
And remember what
ultimatum.
Mayfeld said, right? Mayfeld
Yeah.
said, "I didn't see your face."
Right.
That's what they killed everybody that did see his face.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. But then they say that because they know how important it is to him. When they
Yeah.
understand to a Mandalorian, well, at least this
For him, yeah, for that
a certain-
Mandalorian.
yeah,
Yeah.
a certain group of Mandalorians that don't take off their helmets.
Yeah, that
And
whole
by the
group.
way, the I do like the chase scene with the pirates. Chasing
Yeah.
after them. And
that was cool.
and with the fact that they can't, they could have just left them alone and gone full speed and gotten to the base, but the fact that they can't go too fast because of the Rhydonium that gets unstable kind of reminds me of Solo when they had to
They had to do the run. Yeah.
they had to do the run, and then the thing was so unstable that they can't, they have to be quick. But in this part, unlike Solo and the Falcon, they could have gone as fast as they could. In this one,
Yeah.
they can't go so fast, so it adds more tension because the pirates are like chasing
Yeah.
after. And then you have Mando fighting in this Imperial armor that is nothing like Beskar, and then he even loses his blaster.
Did you notice that he missed a couple of times?
No, I didn't notice that.
Like Mando never misses, right? Like
Yeah.
in the Mandalorian uniform.
Must
But
be the
like
boss.
as a trooper, he missed a couple of times, and I was
Oh,
like,
I didn't notice that.
"Whoa,
I
okay."
gotta say, isn't this the first time we've seen a blaster actually run out of charges in live action?
Possibly, I think so.
Because I know we've seen it in Clone Wars with a sniper rifle, but never with a handheld blaster have I ever seen it run out of charges.
Yeah,
And I
Uh-huh.
know it's all for foreshadowing because of he's clearly skilled in hand-to-hand combat with that spear.
Right.
Hint, hint, Darksaber fight. but
And I don't know if it was just me, but it felt like as he was getting up on that part, it felt like he at least cracked a couple of ribs because
he hurt
he
his
was weeds.
the armor plate on the pauldron on the shoulder got shattered by one of the things.
well, you could
Yeah.
see he was getting tired.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
was getting
was
tired
like-
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So he's definitely damaged at this point.
right.
Mm.
I do want to mention on the Facebook Live, Freddie is asking, he says, my question is, why was Mando's face scan accepted? It makes no sense.
That's the question I have.
Yeah,
I have an answer for you.
go
Remember,
ahead.
because they mentioned it earlier, because like the New Republic or the whatever
Empire.
the Empire, like the database, it scans for
Oh,
people
yes.
that are New Republic rebels or classified as New Republic people,
Right.
Mhm.
and people that are in the Empire.
Okay.
Okay, I completely
That's
missed
awesome.
that.
Thank you for noticing that.
So
So
Yeah,
now,
thank you, because I completely missed that.
I
yeah.
did too.
So now with that, I do want to mention.
so take that, Freddie.
Yeah, no, he was
I'm just kidding.
asking. And then Freddie was also asking for a prediction on next week's season finale. So I do want to mention.
Luke Skywalker comes back and destroys everybody. Let's just say that. That's my prediction.
I know about that, but so
No, I'm
in
kidding.
in the messenger thread, I was saying that I think we're building up to, now that he's taken off his helmet, and then now with the added thing of his face being scanned, I was thinking like he could easily sneak aboard that light cruiser and easily go into a disguise as an Imperial officer, and no one would really, pay attention to him at first, because no one has seen Mando's face, at least Moff Gideon and his crew, right?
Yeah.
But now that his face has been scanned, I think
That might
unless, but I'm
that might
thinking
open
that
a whole new
the
can of
Empire has a
worms.
network, right? The Empire would have a network, so that information would have probably been transmitted. They would have that, on some sort of Imperial cloud network, So they're gonna have that on file, I think, if they do that, or that
Plus-
was contained and that information was destroyed. So
Plus, on top of that, he baited him at the end. You could trace that on top of his face scan, because you're adding, like, they have to have, like, we're talking about the future here. They have
Right.
to have some kind of tracing technology.
right,
Like with that hologram, they probably like will put 2 and 2 together. It would make sense to that.
right.
So even with that said, and even if that's a possibility, I would agree with you, Mike, except on the fact that at the end of that scene, he took it off for that brief moment just to get the thing that he needed in order to get Grogu. And then after all that's said and done, and they wipe out all those Imperial troops, Mayfeld hands him his helmet and then like looks away as in like a courtesy.
Yep.
And Mando puts it back on. It's like, I think you kind of see it from when he meets Bo-Katan. He's slowly struggling with the fact that is it even make a difference that I'm wearing this? Am I a true man? Like I said back in that podcast, what we're gonna find out what it means to be a real Mandalorian as this goes on.
Right.
And
Because
you see him
that's what he grew up.
slowly-
He grew up with. You have to wear the helmet, and nobody. should
Yeah,
see
but
you,
but I'm
so.
saying that he's slowly struggling with that in this season.
yeah.
So I think we're gonna see a little bit more character progression before he just says I'm done with it.
Right, but what I'm getting to is, I think he's even going to fight. He's going to fight Moff Gideon with the armor on and the helmet on. But I think eventually in that fight, somehow he's going to lose the helmet.
Mm.
Or
Or he might just have a Last Dragon moment and take it off
right,
to really get a bet, because you're talking about a guy who has a dark saber. You guys are gushing about how this is an important weapon. He might have no choice but to take that helmet off in the middle of the battle to have a better advantage,
right,
to where it's a stand. It might be a stand
right.
where he's like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the expert. It might be a stand where he's like, okay, now I know who I am. Let's
Yeah, it could be.
like it's like that moment where Neo gets the shit kicked out of him and the blood spits out and he's like, okay, now I understand where I stand. Like when he's like, my name is Neo, and he
Yeah.
fights that.
He
Like
accepts his identity basically. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what exactly.
And
I could totally do that.
I
Yeah.
also think we've seen the Beskar spear against a lightsaber. Most likely, it's going to be able to go toe to toe with a dark saber.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think having his armor on the whole time will also
Right.
be a disadvantage for Moff Gideon. Like, he's going to be
Yep.
invincible. So there has to be drama and tension and like
Take it off.
a big risk, basically.
Take off your armor and face me.
So real
Yeah.
quick,
I don't
who do you think's biting the dust next episode?
I'm not
Oh.
even thinking of anyone biting the dust.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, before I was thinking like maybe if I don't think they resurrected, in all honesty, yeah, they resurrected Boba Fett, but they're not just going to end him right away.
I'll put my hat out there. If she don't apologize, it's going to be Gina Carano who's going to bite the fucking dust.
That's my vote. Honestly, I honestly think that's gonna happen.
So with that said, I was reading something earlier and the article mentioned like this chapter is possibly a backdoor to the Rangers of the New Republic show that they announced, and Cara Dune is most likely part of that show because
Because she's a marshal, right? She's the marshal.
Yeah, she's the marshal. She's one of the marshals. So
Okay.
I don't think she's gonna bite the dust. Yeah, I'm just connecting it with that.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah.
So again, who knows?
I'm gonna take a stab at this, and let's say Grogu is gonna fucking die, and
Yeah, that's-
just kidding.
That was my
but-
first choice.
No,
because
no,
I
no,
was
no.
all
No,
Grogu. That's not gonna
Right.
happen.
Disney,
And-
Disney's
and
like,
let-
no. We're gonna squeeze it.
Unless Disney wants to see the same subscribers that HBO Max has right now and drop like like the Lost City of Atlantis, they're not gonna kill that little
Yeah,
bastard.
no way.
For sure.
There's
Right.
no way.
Yeah, and again, like we'll mention it in the next episode in our regular show. Netflix understands the juggernaut that is the Mandalorian. They understand and
Mhm.
respect it because
Yep.
yes, Netflix is a big competitor, but the fact that this show is essentially carrying the entire platform of Disney Plus. I mean, there's so much other great content there as well, but
But it's got the world by the
now.
balls right now.
right,
That's
It really does. It
And-
really does because Stranger Things is the only other thing, and Stranger Things has been on hiatus. So we only have the Mandalorian.
right.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my brother-in-law yesterday, Vaughn, and he's a casual Star Wars fan. We watched The Last Jedi together, and I think we watched The Rise of Skywalker together. And he's been watching The Mandalorian. And now, since the episode of The Jedi, he got really curious. He's now watching the Clone Wars. And again, like
Nice.
the fact that it's drawing people to now watch the Clone Wars and discover this, all these other brand new characters, and like discover the origins of Ahsoka Tano, and then of course Bo-Katan and all the other characters. Like that's quite a feat, and the fact that you're pulling in that, and again, like I mentioned this on an episode ago or two, that the fact that there are non-hardcore Star Wars fans who are experiencing Star Wars for the first time through
With
the
the show.
Mandalorian, and that's just amazing because now they have this whole universe to explore.
I know
And
they're so spoiled.
you can go
these-
Clone
these-
Wars first, you can go Clone Wars next, and then Rebels, or you can go original trilogy and then prequel and
Right.
then sequel.
These neophyte fans of Star Wars now are so lucky. They didn't go through the heartbreak of seeing the prequels and hating it, and then seeing the sequels and hating it. So
Well, I gotta
They're-
say that
they're
if
so
anything,
lucky.
this show is bringing more, bringing a new fan base more than it ever has before.
mhm.
Like everybody's like, even if you haven't watched the show, you're like, oh yeah, I know who Baby Yoda is, just based off the tsunami of memes that have
Memes,
flooded the internet. And so it's like, and even just that hint of curiosity, like you don't even have to like Star Wars to like this show because it's so
Yeah.
familiar to the average moviegoer.
What did I say
That-
when we reviewed season 1? Like when I told
It's
you
so
guys,
Western,
like,
yeah. You said all that, yeah.
it still feels like a Western to me. Like
Yeah.
like each new thing is a new adventure, and then like the main guy, the white hat is has a task to beating the bad guys and
Look,
all that stuff.
this episode we just watched. I mean, they're fighting on top of a train, fighting off all the bandits on the train. You know,
Yeah.
it's the same idea, same feel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, I love it.
And that's why a lot of us Star Trek fans are really jealous, because this has been it's true.
It's
This has been
true.
the
It's
bridging
true.
gap that Star Trek cannot get, because they don't just not have Dave Filoni and John. They have a group of people that don't care.
Yep.
You guys now have two people. It doesn't matter. You can cry about Kathleen Kennedy and how you don't like her, and about Bob Iger and all these decisions. You still have the two aces in the hole.
Yep.
That's more than us Hellraiser
Yeah.
and Star Trek fans can say. So
Yeah,
I
two
envy
people that
you
actually
guys.
care.
I envy you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
very true.
speaking
Because
of
you have an like I said last time, you have an embarrassment of riches right now,
Yeah.
especially with these new announcements. You have
So,
an
yeah.
embarrassment.
Speaking of Kathleen Kennedy, when I was posting on Thursday on my Facebook about the new announcements with the title reveals and all their planning, I got a lot of comments that were like, "Oh, Kathleen Kennedy's still there. She's still working. She hasn't been fired yet." And I'm just like,
Idiots.
"Well, what
Well,
got
duh.
me thinking is like,
Yeah.
so are you guys?
Do
Are
you
you guys
not understand
getting
the contract she
any of this?
signed?
Are you guys not watching The Mandalorian right now, or are you? I mean, whether you like it or not, yes, the sequel trilogy has some hits and misses, and it may not, it may not have fulfilled a lot of fans' expectations, which is part of the problem as well. But the fact that everything that we've gotten right now, up to this date, is in part because of Kathleen Kennedy.
Mhm.
So she's greenlighting. Bob Iger is her boss, but without her, and a lot of people were saying like Dave Filoni should have her job, and I'm like, no.
No,
If,
He
no.
doesn't
if
know
Dave
how to do
Filoni
that.
takes over, if Dave Filoni takes over Kathleen Kennedy's job, then he wouldn't even be doing what he's doing with The Mandalorian. He would not have
Not
time
only
to do
that-
the Ahsoka show. And the
Not only that, Dave Filoni and John are artists. Kathleen is the business.
right.
Yep. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, I'm not taking anything away from her, because I've actually defended her quite a few times, but she's the business aspect that's like, look, I'm the swinging dick, I'm the business aspect of this. This is why Dave and John are here. They're the artists that make the magic happen. She's the one that makes sure that they can do their jobs.
And here's the thing: Favreau and Filoni pleaded and begged her to make sure that the toys for Baby Yoda did not get released until the show came out.
Yep.
And she took a gamble on that, and
Yep.
rightfully so, because we wouldn't have what we have right now. But
It would have destroyed the fan base. Like, or I mean, it would have
Yeah.
caused some issues because
yeah, because we would assume something that we had nothing to, like, oh, that looks stupid. Oh, I don't even want to watch it now. So
And it would have oversaturated the market before the market could have been oversaturated. Like
Right.
it would have.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. So yeah,
Right.
Yep.
you have to, regardless of if you love her or hate her, you have to give her her credit where credit is due.
Right.
Yep.
She's making things happen. So
Exactly.
I just think it's the misunderstanding of like who does what and when.
exactly, yeah, that's true.
And it's just based off ignorance. I mean, like, because I
Like,
didn't know.
like when people say creative director, right?
Yeah, they think that they're
they think
yeah.
they own, or they're the ones that are in charge of like, oh, greenlighting the money,
right.
greenlighting this, greenlighting all the projects. No,
Yeah.
you're the creative director of this project.
Yes,
Exactly.
Right.
But at the same time, devil's advocate, she did bring a lot of it on herself for
Oh yeah, because
bad
she
decisions. But like I said, yes, she's made bad decisions like the Solo incident, like the trilogy incident, where we all know about it. We don't need to read. But you also have to give her, like I said, her credit.
Right.
she took a gamble.
She took a gamble on something, and she's still taking gambles with these new announcements. These are big gambles.
Not to mention you're in a brand new job. And that's the first thing
Exactly.
you gotta do.
Exactly. You're going to fuck up. You're
Yeah.
gonna fuck up. There is nobody above reproach. And this is what I'll discuss when we get into the Last of Us discussion. There is nobody in entertainment, not even us. There's nobody above reproach. So just stop having that mentality that there is. And you'll be able to get past their mistakes and actually reward them when they've accomplished these things, that they're actually pushing progress forward. She's doing a good job right now. She really is.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Freddie on Facebook Live said, if you all remember, we didn't see the original Star Wars action figures until months later. Actually, like a year, more than a year later, approximately from its theatrical release. I think Mando.
Because nobody knew it was going to be a success. That's why.
That, yes, and he says, I think Mando to a degree is following that formula. But yeah, nobody knew it was going to be a success. And at that time, licensing movies and making like these toys and action figures and merchandise was unspoken, like was unheard of. And that's why like the smart thing that George Lucas did was he secured the rights to everything and possible sequels. But his bet was that it was going to fail and that nobody would want to make these movies. So at least he secured those rights. And in case on the off chance that this does well, I could make more of these, and I'll be able to say yes or no. I'll have control of everything, which was the smartest thing that he ever did. So.
Oh, I gotta say real quick, just because I'm thinking.
Merchandise. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
You're good. Yeah. The smartest thing was that he got the rights to the merchandise, the action figures, everything, and that's why even like up to a certain point, until he sold, of course, everything of Lucasfilm, he would still get residuals from the merchandise. He has a huge cut from it, And the nice thing was also for like the actors like Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill. They get residuals because their faces are on, those products. They're on they're basically their likeness is on products and images that they still get residuals. Which is
a lot of money, man.
You're done filming the movie. It's been, or the trilogy, whatever. It's done, but you're still getting a check. That's a sweet gig. Like,
yeah, it is.
That is the sweetest gig ever. You're not only a cool toy that a kid is playing with and enjoying. You're getting like, hey, here, thank you for all those years of your work.
Yeah, that's why it agitates me to spend so much on Metallica vinyls, because of the royalties and residuals that they get already. Like, come on, assholes! You already making enough money off the royalties.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Making a jump back to the episode that we're talking about. How surprised were you guys to see? How surprised were your feelings about seeing TIE fighters come to the rescue? Because I got all excited and I'm like, when have I ever been excited to see TIE fighters?
No, it was expected, wasn't it? Because like it was a transport. It was a transport ship.
That area. I was hoping some kind of cavalry would come in.
I was thinking that the little chicken walkers were gonna come out and start like those guys. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't realize it was TIE fighters. So I was like, when I saw them, I'm like, oh shoot.
If you think about it, those TIE fighters should have come in sooner, but of course it wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, where the fuck have you been?
Yeah, where's your air support?
Like,
they were in the cantina like drinking coffee and
they were all hanging out at the base. When they get to the base, everyone's like, yeah, saluting them. They're like, where the hell were you guys?
Where the fuck were you guys?
Like you had all this pageantry and you're like, where have you stupid idiots been?
Yeah, I gotta say, man, those guys need a lot more air support more often than I don't understand what the deal was with that,
Yeah.
Especially how much they lost.
That also explains why they're such bad shots, because they're all busy getting drunk in the canteen. It's just like,
I know, like
they still honored those bad shots because, man, they shot the dirt. Like I thought they were gonna hit the tank at first. It's like, man, aim for the pirates like 20 feet in front of you as they're like hitting the side of the dirt or whatever. I'm like, man, horrible shot.
I was hoping we would get a Wilhelm scream in this episode.
I think they officially retired the Wilhelm scream.
Oh
Did
man.
If I'm not mistaken,
No, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense because they did a Wilhelm scream, but it was like a 99-cent store Dollar Tree bargain bin version of it.
Yeah, if I'm
Like
not
Why did they
it was
retire that
very
shit, man?
lazy.
well, if I'm not mistaken, they retired it because it's been so overused. You hear it in almost every movie, and they said that there's gonna be a new Wilhelm scream. So like, okay,
No.
Yeah, we got it, and it was garbage.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
So I do want to go back again also to when Mayfeld blasts the Captain Valen Hess.
Han Solo moment.
You've got
Did you
the
see
other
that?
trooper. You've got
Yeah.
the other trooper who's holding
was
his
just like-
tray. He's ready for his lunch, and he's like,
What did I walk into?
That was a perfect reaction. Nobody just started shooting right away. Like they were
Yeah,
all in
that-
shock.
yeah, because no one
Like,
expected
yeah,
it.
You're right. That Jester, you're 100% on that. It was a perfect reaction because it's like no one would just guns ablaze. They'd be like,
Did somebody just shot a blaster?
okay,
What the hell?
but yeah, like so it was
Yeah.
awesome.
That
Right.
poor guy in his lunch tray, man, just got blasted
know.
away too.
And then Mayfeld's TK number is TK111, and Brown Eyes, aka Mando, Mayfeld gives him TK593. So I'm wondering if those numbers have any sort of significance.
No, it was kind of funny because like you have to talk a little, you have to speak a little louder, sir, because like you know. And what's your number, son?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's like a perfect like interaction with Richard Brake. Like he did it like he just right up the. What's your number, son? Like it was perfect. Like I love it. I love
Right,
it.
right. And
That was so
like
in.
what's this? The Mando's looking good with that fresh cut because
I know.
the last time we saw him, he's looking well. Of course, he's bleeding from his head, but like his hair was like a little like out of place and everything. Of course, he had to look, but he looks like he got a haircut. So I don't know where.
Yeah.
I guess he just does it himself, but he lost that clipper.
Maybe Grogeroth did it for him. You know?
No,
Grogu-
he uses the flow beat like George Clooney.
Oh yeah, there you
Oh,
go. Space Smokey.
What was that, Mike? He lost his clippers in the Razor Crest.
Yeah,
Well, unless
kind
it
of
was
ironic.
a scar, then hey, it survived. So
yeah, I guess.
You know.
But,
so here's my idea. Razor Crest.
Maybe his hair's made out of Beskar.
Razor Crest 2 should be made out of Beskar. Then if you've got
That'd be kinda
that,
cool.
then indestructible. But
yeah,
That
that'd
where
would
you
be
get that amount of Beskar,
all-
I don't know.
Ooh, that
No,
would be
then-
an awesome idea.
Hey, but that would be overkill though, because like he just like let's just go into
Not
the mission
really.
and like run
Right,
in
right.
like run into run into something and
But
and
what
like
if
blast
only
people.
certain aspects of the new Razor Crest were made out of Beskar, like the important?
There you
aspects?
go. That makes more sense. Yeah, because
Then it would
About it-
level out. Then it would level out a little bit.
like the
Right.
door. Like
Yeah.
he needs to learn how to close the goddamn door, man.
unless that's against the Mandalorian honor and code, I guess, because yeah, the Beskar goes to strictly their armor and their weapons.
I
So-
think it might be that might be the case because like even
Right.
when Mandalorian was at its prime, their ships they never infused them with Beskar,
Right.
Right. So
Yeah, it would go
Well,
to
I don't know much better, so
it would go to Grogu's. It would go to Grogu's armor as he starts to train with the Mando.
oh yeah.
Yeah, man, a Mandalorian Jedi.
A
about
Mandalorian
that.
Jedi again. The second one.
Wouldn't
hell yeah! They had the little cuffs. I can't wait to see the Grogeroth
Oh yeah.
Grogu
He was
little
like-
Jedi lightsaber. Like
It's gonna be like, "Bing!"
so
It's
I
like
saw-
little pocket knives. You
I
put little
saw-
pocket knives and shit.
I saw a meme of Grogu when he was knocked out in the cuffs, and then he said, the meme basically said like, parents are liking this. Like, you can stun a child and put them in cuffs while they sleep. Where can I get some? Like, oh my god!
Hey.
Of course
Wow,
the Empire's gonna have
that's
those,
awesome.
man.
So,
No, and then the episode turned into a Call of Duty fucking mission when everybody started shooting.
hey,
and
we gotta give props to Cara Dune and Fennec Shan, sharpshooters, both sharpshooters.
I know
Yeah.
it was funny. It was like, oh, two in the back, pew pew.
I
Got
would
him.
normally agree with you, but there was no Mountain Dew anywhere to be seen, so it couldn't have been a
No,
Call of Duty.
Boba Fett was
Speaking of
watching
Mountain
it.
Dew, I will share
Boba Fett was drinking that shit. Dude. He was just like, ah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, and then
It was cool. It was that part was kind of nice, and then they had to do the little run across the roof and jump on
Wave one
on
gets
board.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we watched it, I watched it a second time. Julie was watching it with me. I was showing it to her. She was like, "How is Boba Fett gonna pick them up?" I'm like, "You'll see. Just watch." Like
Like a boss.
the way the slave one was flying, you know. And then
Yeah, and it
speaking
just
of
like
which, like the jetpack. Where's Mando's jetpack? Did he just leave it
Mm.
there? Like, or are we just saving it for you know?
Oh no, we did see it. Because my wife pointed it out. She was like, at the very beginning of the episode when he comes down on the ramp to greet Mayfeld, he's
the
got his
jetpack on.
jetpack on. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
no, but
Oh, yeah.
since he was wearing his the Imperial armor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. We
He doesn't
didn't
have his
mention
jetpack.
that when Kara picks up Mayfeld and then they get to Slave One, Mayfeld says, and he sees Boba Fett, and he's like, "Oh, for a second I thought you were
Yeah.
this other guy." And then right behind him, he sees Mando, and he's like,
He's like, "Oh,
There's two of them. Come on, man.
What?
am I gonna die? Am I gonna die now?" No.
"Oh, and by the way, I want to
And
ask Jester, what do you think about Mando referring to Boba Fett as Fett and not Boba?"
I thought it was awesome.
It was
My
cool.
wife,
Yeah.
my wife even said that too. She's like, "Man, that's so cool that he calls him that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
It seems
No,
more like brotherly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you have everybody else calling him Boba, but then like Mando calling him Fett seems like they're part of the same family. It
Right,
fits.
So would Boba call him Jarin
Probably
Jarin
Mando.
or
'Cause
Din?
Bobby Mando.
Does he even know his name?
Or
Like
DD?
nobody. Yeah, old DD. Yeah, there you go.
DJ.
No, and,
I-
can we
and I
talk
just
about?
gotta say,
Can we?
Gina
Can we
Carano's
oh.
character, like, she's really growing on me. Like, she's developing very well into an actress. So I have to say, Gina Carano is really, really awesome in this.
Yeah. No, they all had to give props to Mayfeld for taking that sweet shot with the cycler rifle off the
Yep.
the back
Yeah.
of the
No,
Slave
yeah,
One, man.
even Fennec was impressed, right? Like when
she's the one that said
Yeah,
nice shot.
like,
Yeah,
like
it's like,
no, not bad.
nice shot. Yeah, he wasn't a stormtrooper, definitely.
Yeah.
Not to make that shot.
oh, no doubt, no doubt. He was a
Yeah.
sharpshooter because
Yeah, I gotta.
he hit that too easily.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet seeing the Slave One come over the top of that building like that. I was getting goosebumps watching him. I was like, oh man, he's gonna come pick him up too. And it's like it was just a perfect scene. It was so much fun, man.
Yeah, that I agree. Like that whole shot was just, it was beautiful.
So much fun.
And then
Just
when,
so much fun.
I had a blast. Like, I was in a bad mood and I didn't want to watch this episode. I was like, I'm just gonna watch this. And by the end of it, I was happy, and I was like, this made my day. I was like, it really made me happy. And this is the way to make entertainment for everybody. And I can't say enough about it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So when I first watched this, so Thursday night, Friday early morning, we did our emergency podcast regarding the Disney Investor Day and all the Lucasfilm and Marvel announcements. So while I was watching this chapter while the video was rendering from the show that we just did. So, and that was past 3 a.m. So while I was watching it, I was like starting to like doze off a bit, because usually when we get off work, I go home right away and watch the chapter. But for that, like I wanted to like record the show first. So I was like dozing off. So I know I missed a few things. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, I definitely appreciated it a lot more. And then I want to mention when they took off, when Mayfeld got, for a second there, I was thinking that Mayfeld could have been shot as he jumped across from Slave One. I was thinking like, oh, that's it. Like he may not make it, but he did, which is great to see. And then when they take off, of course, he tells Mando, hand me that cycle rifle or something. And then he takes a shot at one of the tanks.
And it was a moving shot. It is going away from him.
Right.
And he just like,
and he's a sharpshooter, yeah. And he even told Mando, he pretty much told him they'll need to sleep at night forever.
Yeah.
Because the base blew up. But then I was thinking like, yeah, I guess the line justifies what he did. But then at the same time, like, man, that's wow. But then yeah,
the issue he had was because of the fact that the Empire sacrificed his buddies, like the soldiers that he was with,
right.
and without batting an eye, without feeling anything about it. And for him, he felt very
survivor's guilt.
Yeah, he was just
Yeah.
like, why am I the only one that survived this? Everybody else died, you know.
Right.
And he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna take it out on the Empire. Um, he may show up at with the Rangers of that new Rangers movie
Yeah,
or
he
show.
might.
Oh yeah,
That would be
Because
cool.
Cara Dune might need somebody who can shoot like
That
a
would be
motherfucker, dude.
that would be really cool.
It
I was
would be.
surprised, like again, that they let him go because they were
Yeah.
like, oh, Mayfeld blew up, and he didn't make it back there.
So I
Yeah.
can go.
His
So I
sentence
can
was
go.
like 50.
I'm not surprised. I actually am not surprised by that. I actually saw that coming when I saw that moment coming when they had their little moment when he was on the ship, and I was like, okay, she's gonna let him go. If he survives, if he doesn't die, she's gonna let him go.
Well,
It-
if she wasn't, Mando was because of everything that went down in that room.
Right.
Yeah,
We all saw it.
but I just went to her because she had the control over him.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Mando did.
what surprised me was that he was just needed for this chapter, and I thought that he was going to go all the way with them at
Yep,
the end.
same here.
Well, that doesn't mean he still can't.
You never know, man.
True.
You know, Han Solo did it.
That's true.
Yeah.
But then I'm
left him
thinking,
there.
like, if you think about it, we also saw Fennec and Kara, who are also sharpshooters. How many sharpshooters do you need? You know.
Yeah.
So-
And they,
Against him, you might need quite a few.
they
True,
got
but then,
Especially
Yeah.
with the Death Troopers. So
true, but then
Exactly. Like we're
I
talking about a heavy hitter right here.
right, but then also that depends on what or where it all goes down. If it, if it's going to be on some planet or it's going to be in the light cruiser. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I think in season 1, Mayfeld's character was a jerk, and I didn't really like him. I mean, he's a good jerk of a character, but in this chapter, you really felt for him because this guy has seen a lot and has gone through a lot, so, and rightfully so with what he's experienced.
We also cannot be remiss. We can say he might not necessarily be a sharpshooter when he comes back. He might be a sacrificial lamb. That's a very well possibility.
True.
Yeah.
And he may not be in that new show. He may be a sacrificial lamb, and because we don't beyond the story, we don't know what Bill Burr obligated to.
Right.
So
It is a bit. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have another career that's very.
like he's perfectly fine.
No,
Yeah.
wasn't the first season he was asked as a favor by John, right, to show up just because.
So he was at a party with his wife, and they he knows Favreau from the cooking show. I think it's Chef
the
on
chef show,
Netflix.
Yeah.
And they got real close, and Favreau asked Bill at the party, "Hey man, I got a role I would like you to do. I think you're a perfect fit for it for Star Wars." And
He said
he was
no,
like,
right?
he's
No,
like,
no.
"Nah, I'm good." And it was his wife that was like, "Get back over there and say yes." It's Star Wars. Get over there, because he doesn't like Star Wars. He missed the train, as he said.
No. He said even in his stand up, he's like, I don't fucking get it. I don't get this.
Yeah.
I don't. It was just talking all that stuff about Star Wars. But I guess based on that conversation and based on the role that he's playing as Mayfeld, he says like, hey, you know what? I like
it
this.
now.
Yeah.
He gets it now. Yeah, because he, especially with the Western vibes, he said he really liked it. How it was the like the spaghetti Western,
Hey,
I love how Jester Jester told that story as if he was actually at that party. It was so fucking awesome.
Oh, John Favreau. We had some. We had some coffee at Starbucks.
right, I
somewhere.
wish.
It was. I like the way he presented it. I'm cool with it.
But I like that. I love his humor in the show because he's playing himself, and I remember him from Breaking Bad, and to see him stretch his humor and still deliver that amazing acting with the bar scene or whatever. And
you can actually put humor in a show without making it cringy.
Right, but it's that's what I'm saying. it's good because like even when he's putting on that dude's suit, he's like, oh man, this guy stinks.
Yeah,
These
right.
gloves are still sweaty, you know. I
Right,
was
right.
like,
No,
oh,
no, no.
man.
Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? It actually fits in the moment.
Yes, absolutely.
it-
Yeah.
And
Unlike
there was
Okay.
this
something.
continues my thing with these comedians who are just knocking it out of the park with serious shit. It's kind
They've
of
got
pissing
quite
me
the
off
range.
a little.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Krasinski.
Again, I really want him to be part of the Star Wars universe somewhere. Like, hopefully Rangers, hopefully the new Boba Fett, whatever series, hopefully in Ahsoka, when some random thing anywhere, even in the Mandalorian season 3.
Well,
I
don't
would
know.
love that. I would love that. But I
But more than
also
likely he
part of
should
me
he
wants
should
to
show up in the Rangers. I think I would think the Rangers would be the best one for him. So
I would love that, but a part of me wants to see him die next weekend. No,
So-
like seriously, like because I feel that he deserves a hero's death.
I
Actually,
gotcha.
makes sense now that you mention it. Yeah. And it would,
'Cause
it would perfectly encapsulate his arc because he started
Exactly,
as an
exactly.
as an Imperial trooper, a sharpshooter, not a stormtrooper. And then of course, like he goes through this arc, and then because when he found out, when I think was it Carr that mentioned to him or Fennec that they took the kid, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh, that little green guy, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
oh, man, they took him, like so maybe that'll get him to like come back, or like tell him like, hey, let's save this kid, because it's
Yeah.
rad. And that's it. It's like, so everyone else is basically like the audience, like, you're not taking Baby Yoda away from us, like we're all gonna go together, like we're gonna get
Yeah.
rallying everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
I do want to mention there's something else mentioned where like something with the TPS reports.
Yeah.
Like,
Did
officer
you,
thing, like an
you guys
officer
get
something.
caught that? Because Bill Burr was talking about it. Like, come on, Brown Eyes, let's go ahead and fill out those TPS reports.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to
Yes.
finish those.
I was like, oh shit, man, come
Yeah.
on. Why you gotta mention it? But it's okay. It has to be done. I think it was like a spur of the moment thing with
Oh,
Bill
totally.
Burr.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure it was like off at the top of his head.
And it
I
fits.
gotta say, if this is his last episode where they just leave him on this planet, at least it was a memorable moment for his character, because he was pretty much forgettable in the chapter 6, but in this one, everyone will remember that scene that with the captain for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. And it's essentially that scene where they're infiltrating the base. In a way, it's back to A New Hope. It's Luke and Han and Chewie without the prisoner, But then it's just it's basically taking a page from that, but having its own spin where they're gonna blast, not just blast a stormtrooper, but blast an officer. Like, oh geez, like
Yeah, that was his Han Solo moment. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was pretty badass. Because like Mando was like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because Mando knows
Yeah,
like
he was
what's
giving
up
the look.
already.
He was giving him the
Yeah,
look.
like he
no.
was like no.
Yeah.
And then he just like smiled and then like
Yeah. That's the thing.
pow,
He didn't even just do it under the table. He like straight up pointed that thing in his
That's right.
face.
That's
pow,
Like, woo!
and then
Yeah.
left and then ta. I was like, dang.
Yeah, just that side,
To not just
Just
be
put
in
up for it,
Star
go to the
Wars,
tray.
but to get your own Han Solo moment, man, that's
Yeah.
quite an accomplishment. That's something. You gotta.
Yeah, totally.
He has to be thanking his wife for convincing him to like. You better, you better recognize, boy.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, but
better get back over there.
that's why I think because like I heard that he's on board now. He's like he's kind of appreciative of Star Wars and the universe and all that stuff, but just because of like having conversations with Filoni and probably and Favreau and
Right.
getting into the character. Maybe he wants to do more, and like I said, like the that new Rangers show would be absolutely perfect for him.
Yeah, I listened to his podcast, and he is
because
on board.
Cara Dune would need people, man. Like, and
Right.
that would be fucking amazing. Like just the back and forth between the two. I would watch that.
Oh yeah, because he did
I would watch
mention like, I'd love to see you get in this thing. If he does end up in that Rangers series,
Yeah.
Cara's there. They're gonna be in some kind of transport somehow, and he's gonna
Yeah.
be driving, and she's gonna be like freaking out.
Would you hurry up and like, why don't you calm down there?
Yeah, there's some good chemistry there. Because remember a few chapters ago when they infiltrated that Imperial base on Navarro, Kara was in control and she was driving the speeder, but you
Yeah,
give
she
it
was.
to Mayfeld and she's not in control. Like that'll make for quite a scene.
Yeah,
Burr has great chemistry with anybody that he works with. I mean, we
Right.
saw it in chapter 6 and we saw it with Mando, just like it was perfect. I mean, you should have left me in prison. You know, like we all love the
That's-
dialogue that he has with them.
I think that's the qualities of a really great actor, because
Yeah.
they're not necessarily overstepping all the time. They know when to back off and let someone else and then play off of that without having to be like, I'm the star all the time, you know. So that's really
Yep. That
Yeah.
man is my all-time favorite comedian now. Like I absolutely love his stuff. It's
and I
so
think
funny.
I DM'd you something on Instagram where I saw from
Oh
his-
yeah.
where he's like talking about like Taco Bell and Olive
Yeah,
Garden. Like we know
he's like
it's original Mexican. We know it's not original Italian. Like I was laughing so hard.
yeah.
I really need to watch more of his stuff now.
Yeah,
He's
he's
he
killing
gets
me.
he gets a little nasty on certain topics with his shows, man.
Right.
It's
I'll have to
funny.
check
It's
my-
hilarious.
Yeah.
No, it's hilarious. But like if you
No,
have
he
if you have-
doesn't get nasty. He tells the truth.
if you
Yeah.
have thin skin, oh man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, if
especially
you're like
nowadays.
Brad, you'll be crying all week.
Oh boy.
If you think
boy.
his show's bad, you guys should listen to his podcast. He lets it all
No,
go.
his podcast is
Oh,
awesome
there you
Yeah, I
go.
love it.
because he really rails.
So
Yeah.
back into the chapter, the very last thing we get, we see the light cruiser. Was it traveling through hyperspace?
No, it was just
No.
like
No,
going
okay,
through
it
going. It was just
okay.
going.
Oh
Through.
wait. I think it was, wasn't it?
Was it? No, I think it was just like going through. It was
Ah.
passing through.
That's like
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember
Forget.
now. It's like
I
yeah.
forget.
So of course, the Imperial officer gets to Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon's just hanging out again, looking like a total badass. Yeah, and then
I'm.
And then the ultimatum comes.
yeah, and the exact words that Moff Gideon told Mando in season 1, you have
You
something.
took
I
something.
want. Soon he will be back with me. He means more to me than you will ever know. And now it's got Moff Gideon like, oh,
Is that right?
a challenge. Do I hear a challenge, dear boy?
Yeah, he had that look on his face like
Is
this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like,
The
Okay.
audacity.
It was great. I like that he used his own line against him like that. And instead
Yeah.
of calling Yoda or Grogu it, Mando calls him he.
him.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
Right.
He should have called him Gorgoroth, but
So there was a thing that leaked, well, not leaked, but was shared on social media this week. I saved it. You guys go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna look for it and I'm gonna share it regarding Giancarlo Esposito.
We're
And-
just gonna sit here in silence and make it awkward.
Uh,
No, I didn't really know what to expect with this episode because I knew they were gonna break out Mayfeld, but I
I'll-
like how it was just go, and it was something.
It's the best filler ever.
It was.
like,
It was,
honestly.
it was
It was great.
It's definitely one of my favorite.
Like I told you guys like on the private chat, like you guys are gonna love this fucking episode. It's amazing.
yeah.
And like I wasn't clapping like like oh my god like fucking like, I was just like,
Yeah,
like
you were.
when I saw
Yeah.
the shot I was like I shot, man, that was cool.
Like I was cheering a little bit when the slave one was coming to pick them both up off the roof because I
Yeah.
was like, man, this is just this is so good. This is so.
I ain't
exciting."
cheering until I see my girl Sasha Banks again. So
No,
Oh, she'll be back. I
she'll
think
be
she's
back
coming
next
back.
episode.
I guarantee you, Mando in the next episode is gonna be calling Bo.
Calling favors, man.
I found him. Yep, like I found him.
so
So-
I can't find the thing. Anyway, it's a quote from Giancarlo Esposito. I'm gonna paraphrase it.
Oh, is it about the kid?
Yeah. So
Is it
his
about the kid?
oh
Okay.
yeah, you
yeah.
told
daughters or his grandkids, I think, were saying like, "Oh, Papa, please don't hurt Grogu, don't hurt Baby Yoda." And then he told him like, "I'm gonna squash that little bug." Like,
Oh, he didn't say bug. He said, "I'm gonna squash the little bastard."
the little
That's
bastard.
what it is.
Squash him. I mean, man, what a position, what a place it must be to play a character in a beloved series and then to now also be the villain, and to have that much power. Like if you see him in public, you're like, oh, what the hell? Like, Moff
I
Gideon.
would give him props, man. I say I'm gonna tell him, hey, I love you and do the right thing. I was like,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's the thing though. Is
Why
like
you got these brothers on this wall?
he's
Yep.
no imperial pushover in this one, man. He is
oh God.
presence
Yeah.
and power and
He's
he's in
absolutely great.
control.
And that goes back to them casting, the right performer, the right actor for the right part. Like
It really is.
it's really well done. It's really well done.
It's a testament to the whole, and we'll get into this in the next episode. This is what I'm talking about: storytelling, good storytelling, good acting, good production design, good cinematography. Like
No
it all comes
redundancy.
together. It all comes together, and we could all come together. We don't have to like each other,
Yep.
but we all agree the Mandalorian is the shit.
Right, Pinhead. Like people
Like
are.
this is the show that brings Nazis and Jews together.
Wow.
Oh man.
I'm
Okay.
not kidding. Like this is the shit that would have prevented World War II.
I mean, with the split of the fan base when the sequels came out, yes, I will have to agree that this is the one thing that they all came together and we said, "Oh yes, it's so good! Finally, something we all love together." Oh my gosh, we
Exactly.
finally have that.
No, but there's like a part of the fan base now are saying, "Oh my God, another side mission." Oh my God.
Oh,
like,
boo hoo hoo! It's
That-
all
that's
come
a-
together. Relax.
that's what that's what they're saying, and I'm like, and I'm telling them, I'm like, dude, it's a western. Like,
Yeah,
there's a tie-in, at the end, at the very end, always.
And with that, I will, to a certain point, agree, because when Kevin Smith and Mark Bernard were talking about it on the latest Fat Man on Batman podcast, Mark Bernard, if you didn't know, is also a well accomplished writer, and
Mhm.
he was saying that he enjoys The Mandalorian. He thinks it's a great show, but this season so far, season 2, up until I want to say,
Chapter
up
13.
up until the Ahsoka episode with the Jedi, everything has always been about go to this planet, look for this person, and to him, it's not addressing the plot immediately. Like it's all these side missions. And so
Yep.
what he liked about the Boba Fett episode was that finally he's on Tython. Finally, we're getting more info about Grogu, his backstory. Like, and that he's speaking from a writer's perspective, which makes sense. But everything so far, for me personally, all the side missions and all these things have led up to this, so it makes sense to me. Like, and I personally could not have written it any better. Like,
And I agree with him, but also as a writer, he should know that's part of first season jitters. So
right.
I mean, to me, what I see in those filler episodes is character development. You have the genesis of Jin.
Like the build-up, the build-up
well,
of,
no,
like,
I'm just saying,
of things to come.
Sure, yeah, but I'm saying it's character development as far as Mando having doubts about his personal belief about keeping the helmet on when he meets Bo, and then the father-son relationship that he has with Grogu in the second one with the eggs. You see slowly how he cares for this kid through each episode. Yeah, okay, it's filler, but you're seeing the growth in the relationship, the growth in the character as a person,
Yep.
with everything that he's going through. So
kick rocks, you fucking complainers.
yeah, pound sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for the people who are just hating on it just because, oh, it's hello, come on. This is quite, possibly the best Star Wars that everyone would agree on a large,
Since Rogue One, is that right?
Sure. I mean, with all the other people that weren't happy with the sequel trilogy and that split, the fandom after the Last Jedi.
So
The
since Rogue
Mandalorian
One
has managed to, unite.
because people were split on Rogue One too.
Bro, really? I thought everybody liked Rogue One.
Yeah,
No.
right.
Wow. I like Rogue One.
I've heard many people that hated that film.
I liked Rogue One.
I
It
did
was
too,
fun.
man.
Oh, did I? I loved it,
I
but
love Rogue One.
that doesn't take away from the subset group of people that did not like it.
and and that's why like I was really surprised after the Last Jedi when the backlash hit. I was surprised at the backlash because I thought, for whatever reason, I thought that the whole, hating on Star Wars and the backlash was done with in the prequel era, and yet,
Yep.
like, because I mean, after Revenge of the Sith, I thought that this is it, Star Wars is done, and then you fast
Yep.
forward to, they had Celebration 4 in LA in 2007, and yeah, we're celebrating Star Wars, it's great, but there's no new movies. But hey, here's a Clone Wars animated series coming, and that's where I first met Dave Filoni, and they had a panel. They showed this, this sizzle reel of Clone Wars, and I was like, holy shit, like we're gonna see more Clone
Hey.
Wars,
Filmmaker Mike, right?
So
Oh shit.
that's like a few years later. But still, again, like
Well, Mike, I love your experience, but as long as there's bullies like me in the world, the hate will never die.
well, that's the thing. Like we all thought that Star Wars was done for the longest time, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
have the resurgence of and I definitely see the perspective of the hardcore fans, the other fans as well, like especially those who grew up with the original trilogy. I can see from their perspective why they wouldn't like the sequel trilogy, and like I have like a friend from the Philippines who got me into Star Wars collecting, and to him the sequel trilogy does not exist. The Skywalker saga ended at episode 6, which I can understand and respect, but for me it's like I'm taking it all in, like as a fan, like I'm gonna, yeah, I appreciate all things Star Wars. It doesn't mean I love everything about it. Like now looking in hindsight with the sequel trilogy, there are some things that I thought could have been improved on and could have been done better, but I still enjoy them. I mean, it's the trilogy that I got to share with my kids, so they know Rey and BB-8, so there's that from my perspective. But again, yeah, it's really fascinating. But now with the Mandalorian, they've really managed to see like how it should be done, basically, how it should properly be done. So, and that's why like they now know what they have with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Like I shared something with like a meme on Jon Favreau saying like oh when you
save the MCU.
kick off the MCU,
Yeah, kick off the
cinematic universe, and then you what was the other one?
You saved the Star Wars.
You save
universe,
and revitalize the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And then it's basically Jon Favreau's head on top of Fix-It Felix Jr. from Wreck-It Ralph. And it says, why do I fix everything I touch? And then I shared, of course, that's supposed to be funny, right? And then this guy, Rico Alexander, I don't know how well he knows me, but he's obviously my friend on Facebook. And then he says, damn, so fuck Dave Filoni then, LOL. And I'm like,
wait, what?
Do you know who you're commenting at? Do you know the profile? Like
that's my bro.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, you don't even know. So like, hold up, listen to the podcast, and get to know this shit. Okay, that doesn't mean that Jon Favreau is being praised, that Dave Filoni's forgotten. Like, hello. So
that's nonsense.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm looking forward to the next episode. This is gonna be a banger. Hopefully, it's a really good cliffhanger, so people would be like, "What the fuck is what's gonna happen?"
Yeah, and then you're gonna get people like, "What?"
I hope it's not that big.
No, I wanted it to be a cliffhanger, so we have like a year to fucking stew, or like almost a year, like 9 months maybe.
I want
know.
it to be a cliffhanger like it was with season 1, where like
Yeah.
he comes out with the saber. Like that was the story ended. It had like a nice little bow at the end, but then it had a nice little PS note afterwards.
So if I'm not mistaken, during the Disney Investor Day call, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed season 3 of The Mandalorian will drop Christmas of 2021.
Yeah.
So we got a year.
Yeah. So
I can't wait.
Give it that Warrior Nun cliffhanger, please.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Then the fans will be really happy.
Oh, Pinhead. Why'd you have to mention Warrior Nun?
Because I had to.
I need to finish that series. I haven't finished it.
It turned out I was like it was a
Warrior
drag.
Dun's awesome. I don't care what anybody. It's awesome.
It was a drag. It was very teen angsty for me, a little too much. But
Well,
like
just
you know,
wait for the
but
next episode.
I don't know,
That-
but the concept is I like it. I like the where they're driving at. I like the little twist at the end. But then I was just like, really? That's the end of the fucking first season?
Well,
What the hell?
Kuya, you might not be happy with our next podcast episode that's coming up real soon because there's going to be a lot of teen angst and emo shit coming.
Alrighty. Well,
That's why I have my McRib.
Smells like Teen Spirit in this bitch.
on that note, this is a good time to end this chapter review of The Mandalorian. Chapter 15, The Believer. I'm
The
curious.
believer, right? The believer.
I'm curious to see what the title of the season finale will be, and how long of a runtime we're gonna get. I wonder if we'll get a full hour. It'd be incredible.
It would be nice. Please
Hour.
hammer that to the. It's a finale. 1 hour, please.
People would
Wow.
lose their mind if it became a 90-minute last ending. It became like a
So
real
be it.
movie.
I mean, yeah,
So
leave
be
it,
it.
leave us on a cliffhanger, but give us like 90 minutes or like an hour of it. But you're gonna leave us off for a year. I mean,
Call the next episode the Fallout and make it a 90-minute episode.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this has been one of the saving graces of 2020 that we've been
Yeah.
looking forward to.
Oh yeah.
And it's delivered. So I think it's safe to say that.
Yep, I agreed. 100% agreed.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So thank you
Yeah.
guys for listening. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram at FMANDTB. You can follow me at FilmakerMike, and of course also on my TikTok, Jedi Mike 1138. I'm doing more Star Wars stuff there, so check it out. Jester.
Yeah, you can follow me at Sequester J on Twitter, the Sequester Jester on Instagram. Enjoy for hot garbage. Kuya.
New Instagram, Old Man Jimmy, Jimi. So there's only one post there, so comment or like it. If you don't, go fuck yourself.
The postmortem.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pinhead.
I'm not saying anything. I'll tell you this. Listen and watch to our next episode, and then
There
I'll
you
tell
go.
you where I'm at because that's the promotion.
Oh, there you
Because
go.
You're gonna want to follow me after the next episode when I Thanos snap someone into oblivion.
Oh, geez.
Oh boy. Alrighty.
Buddy.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time, may the force be with you.
Bye bye.
This is
Have a good night, fuckos.